So a year later, is the threat from al-Qaeda over? Joining us tonight is Colonel Cedric Leighton, a former deputy director at the National Security Agency and now a foreign policy and military intelligence analyst. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
It's my pleasure, Maureen. Thanks for having me.
So the question, is the threat over?
Not really. And, it's obviously been mitigated and it's been minimized by the death of bin Laden, and that was a significant achievement in the war on terror. But the threat is not over because there's so many lone wolves out there. There's so many other possibilities for terror to take root, and that's what we have to worry about at this point.
So you're talking about lone wolves, but can al-Qaeda inspire a global Islamic insurgency? Do they still have that power?
Not at the moment, because their current leader, Ayman al-Zawahiri, is not really as charismatic as bin Laden was, and those kinds of messages require someone who's a charismatic messenger to actually make them work. So in this particular case, I think the bin Laden death really means that it isn't, that al-Qaeda itself is not a global Islamist insurgency, at least not to the same degree that it was a few years ago.
So are we better able to predict what al-Qaeda will do, or did we just get lucky with this one?
Well, we were able to predict where he would be. We were able to understand his movements. A lot of intelligence went into making this work, and because of that, we didn't really get lucky, but we got very good. And our intelligence is so much better than it was just a few years ago, just because it is much more precise, and we are able to focus on the targets much better than we were, say, in 2001.
So if al-Qaeda is weakened, is there a bigger threat on the horizon? And if so, who or what would that be?
Well, what we have to worry about is the social unrest that is happening in the Arab world, because that is not going away. And because of that, Maureen, what we're looking at is a situation in which a terrorist grouping that looks and seems like al-Qaeda may take root in other parts of the Arab world. They may take on the al-Qaeda name, but they may also be very different. And what we have to worry about are things like biological warfare, chemical warfare, those kinds of things. And of course, the ultimate would be nuclear warfare, where they take what they call a dirty bomb and put it somewhere that we don't expect it to be. That would be the nightmare scenario, and we obviously want to avoid that.
So with the significance of an anniversary coming up, how worried should we be that there might be any sort of retaliation on al-Qaeda or anyone's part on the U.S.?
Well, it could happen, obviously, but I think that, given the fact that our intelligence is actually quite good, the likelihood of that is less than 40%, I would say. And the reason I say that is because we're able to be very precise with the kinds of threat information that we're able to glean from not only foreign sources, but also from domestic law enforcement sources. The other part of that is that the intelligence community and the law enforcement community are working really hand in glove, much better than they were prior to 9/11.
Colonel Cedric Leighton, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for your insight tonight.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Great to be with you.
Thank you.